The elven realm of Lothlorien is under siege. Galadriel and her elven kin face a horde of orcs, goblins, and monsters. Will the forces of Sauron win, or will the Lady of Light protect her ancient forest? Join us here at Conquest Creations to find out. While Minas Tirith was under siege by Gothmog and the Witch King, other realms in Middle-earth such as Mirkwood, Erebor, and of course Lothlorien were also facing battles from Sauron's evil forces. In this game we have Galadriel with Celeborn, Oriphan, and Rumil, as well as a 50-50 split of armored Galadrim elves and lightly armored wood elves with throwing weapons, as well as a core of elite Galadrim court guard. The evil side today is led by the orc shaman Merzger. He has a conclave of shamans that includes Ashrak, Druzag, an orc shaman, and a goblin shaman. There is a horde of goblins which include the elite prowlers and a horde of orcs. This infantry is led by 2 orc captains. There's also wargs, warg marauders, warg riders led by 2 wild warg chieftains, as well as 10 giant spiders that can get buffed by Ashrak and Druzag. This army will be using the rules for the Assault on Lothlorien Legendary Legion. That means that shooting in this whole game is limited to a 12-inch range, but receives +1 to wound. Evil sorceress magic is pressing down on the golden wood sent forwards by Sauron, and the evil side wants to destroy the magical barriers that are defending these buildings. The buildings have a magical barrier that has a defense of 10 and 10 wounds. If it's destroyed, the evil webs of sorcery will consume the building, rendering it destroyed. The objective for the good side is simple: reduce the evil side to 25% of its starting models. The objective for the attackers is to destroy 3 of the 4 Lothlorien buildings. Something that's going to help out with this is that all of the shamans get the Decay magical power. This successfully casts on a 4-up, and if they get it off, it does a wound to the building and reduces its defense by 1. Now these shamans do of course get to re-roll all failed spells, but we've decided because they're just arriving, this is only going to happen from turn 3 onwards. This battle report is the first one produced in the brand new Conquest Creations studio where I am sitting now. I'm now working full-time on Conquest Creations to produce awesome content like this, as well as fantastic digital products for 3D printing. If you like what you see here, and you want to support the channel while also getting some amazing terrain, head over to our Webstore where you can download the STL files for Kingdom of Saxonia and Kingdom of Direct Deep. Our next project is underway, and I can't wait to reveal it to you guys very soon. All of this terrain has been designed for wargamers, by wargamers, so it's easy to print and great to play in-game. Alright, let's get into this battle. I'm Jacob, and today I'm going to be playing the attacking force, the Assault on Lothlorien. My plan for this game is to destroy these buildings. I'm going to really stack my hitting power on one side of the board so that half my army can break through, and hopefully they can come and destroy the buildings while the rest of my army just ties up the elves.
G'day, I'm Sean from the Last Alliance of Noobs Men, and today I will be commanding the defenders of Lothlorien. My plan is to hold the line up front, not let any of the goblins and whatnot come through, use my throwing weapons on the wood elves to really thin those numbers down before getting into combat. This is going to be a really exciting game, and I'm keen to see how this turns out.
And with that, our battle is ready to begin, and Sean begun to deploy the defenders of Lothlorien. Galadriel and Celeborn went in the middle, and wood elves and elves are using the terrain as much as possible to try to get a shooting advantage over the assault on Lothlorien. All shooting in this scenario does get +1 to wound, but is limited to 12-inch range, so a lot of stuff is gonna get killed, and this horde of elves is down, ready to defend the Golden Wood. And with the elves deployed, it's now my turn to get my assaulting force down, and there is an absolute ton of models in this army. I've gone monster heavy on one side, and I put my shamans, who are going to be so essential for winning this game, dead center. All those monsters move super fast, so I'm hoping to hit that flank first thing in the game. The board is set, the pieces are ready, let's begin the siege of Lothlorien. And we're starting by going straight into the evil move phase, and I have a ton of orcs and goblins just rushing forwards. I just want to close this ground as quickly as possible, and we're able to get into combat in the very first turn with my orc captain going into Orifin. And the fast moving wargs are just rushing forwards as quickly as they can. And my next move is with the 5 shamans. All of them are going to move up and cast their magic at this house to see if I can destroy it. And here is their 5 spells needing 4s. Alright, we've got 2 of them, so that's 2 wounds and -2 defense on the first building. And Sean's movement begun, and his wood elves just started to rush into the horde of orcs. I was lucky this turn, and his throwing weapons didn't actually do too much damage, but with a 3-up hit and +1 to wound, I'm sure they're going to get a lot of kills throughout this game.
Just moving up this left flank of my Galadriel defenders, just to meet these wargs, hoping to form another shield wall similar to what I have in the middle.
And finally, Galadriel and Celeborn moved up, meaning we can go to the shooting phase. And that takes us to first turn shooting, where these elves are just going down at the rabble beneath them. These elves all hit on 3s. Let's see it, Sean. Some decent shooting to start out with. And
Misses.
If you're going for them, you're going to need 4s to kill here.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. All right. Pick whichever ones you want to take out.
Just a random allotment of boys.
And on the other flank, Sean's archers managed to take down a few of the wargs. But luckily for me, my warg marauders shot back, and I actually managed to kill an elf. So that's good for me. And that takes us into the combat phase, where things started off pretty poorly with me losing a few orcs and taking a wound on my captain. But I am fighting against elves, what can you expect? But I did manage to compensate for my captain taking a wound by killing one. And then over on the right flank, I actually managed to do pretty well here, winning a few fights so my goblins survived. And I managed to win the fight with my orc captain against Orifin, but I didn't manage to put a wound on him. We still took a few more casualties, but overall it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. And next turn priority went to evil, so I'm rushing in with my fast moving wargs. There is a line of elves here, and I need to punch through them as quickly as possible so that I can get to those objectives. Now in the center, we're also crashing into this line. I've got models with big 40mm bases, so Sean's going to get a lot more attacks on my models than I'm able to get onto his models. So in their movement, my 5 shamans, rather than casting any of their buffs or nerfs to Sean, I'm just going to go for the objective once again. So they're all going to be casting their spell Decay at this building. Because they're all casting, I'm just going to roll them all together here, needing 4s. And there's 3, so we've done 3 more wounds to that house, down to 5 wounds and defense 5. And in Sean's movement, it makes a lot of sense. He just needs to hold the line. As long as he can kill orcs while he's holding the line, he's going to be able to protect his buildings. But there are a lot more evil monsters than good elves on this table. And the lines have well and truly clashed. Orcs and goblins going up against elves across the whole battlefield. Of course, the elves look outnumbered, but their high fight should be enough to keep them safe. And this building under siege, looking like it might be the first one to go down. That takes us to the shooting phase, where I was largely ineffective, and Sean's shooting managed to do an absolute number on me, with these archers taking out 5 wargs in one shooting phase. And into the combat phase, I really needed to make up for that, and I managed to kill a couple elves here and didn't really take many casualties, which was nice, but there's still a lot of elves in those trees ready to shoot me next turn. And it's now my turn to strike the building. I've got 2 wargs, a warg rider, marauder, and a spider. So we're going to do all of the warg strikes first. We need 5s here. There's just 1, and then the spider, he needs 4s. And that's 1, so it's alive. It's got 3 wounds left. And the fighting continued. A really strong benefit for me is that a lot of my evil models have multiple wounds. So the spider took a wound here, but is still standing because it has 2. And this spider did a hero of a job, managed to kill 2 elves in one shot. They are so lethal. Now, I'm definitely still losing orcs and goblins, but I've got plenty, so I'm not too stressed. If I lose 2 or 3 orcs and goblins for each elf that dies on this flank, eventually I'll grind them out because I massively outnumber them. And in this turn, that's exactly what's happening. We just have a lot of dice. We've got some banners. Now, Sean does have banners from the trees, but I'm still able to win fights and get plenty of kills, taking a few casualties of my own, but I'm fighting elves. What can I expect? And that was a nasty turn for the elves. They took 9 casualties across the board, so the defenders need to strengthen their will if they want to hold this line. And priority for the next turn went to the elves, and they definitely desperately needed it because it means that they can get all their throwing weapons off, which managed to do some damage this turn. Shaman was charging in his wood elf throwing weapons, managed to kill my captain. He was wounded earlier on in the game, and he just failed his fate. That was definitely a painful one because he still had some might on him. I probably should have used it for a heroic move, but I wasn't expecting him to go down like that. And in the middle, this time, Sean is charging me, so I'm not getting any charge bonuses from my cavalry.
Alright, so this middle section where the Wood Elves are meeting the armoured Galadriel is looking a little bit thin. So I'm going to send Galadriel and Celeborn up here, and they're going to make a bit of a stand with their court guard in and around this little choke point forested area.
And on this flank, the elves are just tying up my wargs so that they can hold the line. Priority here would have been really nice because I could have started wrapping around, but I don't want to spend my resources just yet to get the movement advantage. I'm going to save it for the right moment. And in my Shaman's move this turn, I don't think I need to decay because that building is nearly destroyed. So what I'm going to do is cast some Furies. So my Goblin Shaman, he's going to cast Fury. He's got it off on a 5. Now he only affects the goblins. The Orc Shaman's got a 2, which would fail, but in this Legendary Legion, I get to re-roll that. On a 3, it'll pass. Next up, Ashrak is going to cast another Fury. This one's just going to affect the spiders. He's failed, but he'll re-roll it, and he's passed. Now, the other 2 are just going to save their will for this turn, and that means they may as well cast Decay anyway, so Mirzo will go in. He's got it, and finally Druzag has failed it this time. But because of the special rule, he can re-roll that one, and he's got it as well. That means the building is on 1 wound remaining. And this Bat Swarm is using the Fly special rule to go over the enemy models and into this Wood Elf in the back. And my next Bat Swarm also flying over and just taking on one of these Spearmen to take attacks off my wargs and hopefully get some extra kills. This is the state of the board, and that takes us into the shooting phase. Sean, what do you have to do here?
Alright, so I'm a little bit worried about that this one white Warg Chieftain that is running around and putting in some damage. So I see that there is another Warg Chieftain behind those lines, and I'm a bit worried that it's going to come in and do even more work. So I'm going to send all 11 shots over the ranks and into that Warg Chieftain and hope to take it out or do a couple of wounds to it so that if I get lucky with dice rolls later on, I can do a cheeky wound to it and kill it.
Alright, let's see the rolls. 3 to hit.
Oh, we're looking good.
It's
that's only
right.
2 misses.
And because of the Pole of Darkness, that's 4s to wound here.
4s to wound.
It's only got 3 wounds and a fate, so this could be bad.
That will do it with 5 wounds.
5 wounds to the Warg Chieftain. That's very unfortunate. Take him out for me.
Much needed.
Now Sean's shooting has been killing my Orcs and Goblins, but this time I stayed still with some of these archers and they fired up at those Wood Elves. We did remarkably well and managed to kill 2 of them. And with this shooting phase over, we can go into the combat phase where these defense 3 Wood Elves are just trying to stay alive. I'm wounding them on 4s in most cases, which makes them really easy to kill, but there's still quite a few of them. A lot of the elves that have Wood Elf Spears have been choosing to shield, because that's a special rule they get with their Wood Elf Spear. And there's quite a few fights that I managed to win, but didn't kill my opponents, but several where I got cheap kills, like a Goblin Archer fighting 2 elves managed to kill 1 of them. I want to break through these Wood Elves as quickly as possible because there's a decent distance that I'm going to need to run to get down to the next building to destroy. Orphan won his fight against my captain, but it cost him some might points and he didn't manage to get the kill. But some of the Wood Elf Spearmen are just being tanks. It's funny to say that a defense 3 model is a tank, but if you just don't lose the fight, you can't die. Now in the center, I lost a Warg Rider, which was very unfortunate because they would be great at getting kills, but I managed to take down 2 more elves before losing my Warg Marauder to Rumil. On the wide flank where I really want to break through, but the archery has been wrecking me, I lost a lot of fights and pushed back, and finally killed just 1 elf. The final thing for the turn is seeing if I can destroy the house. We'll throw for the 2 wargs. They haven't done it. The Warg Rider, he's done it. So the first building destroyed. And with that, it goes into the Elven movement phase. They won priority this turn, and they're just trying to hold their line. Celeborn has got into combat with the spider, so I'm expecting to take some damage from him this turn, and the Wood Elves throwing weapons managed to get some kills. So I'm really conscious that I need to be breaking through, and I want to go through this center. So Druzag is going to cast Enrage Beast on this spider here. He's failed it, but can reroll thanks to the Legendary Legion. And he's failed it again, so no Enraged Beast this turn. And here we are after the movement phase. The thin line of elves is thinner, but still holding. Sean, how do you think the game's going so far?
Look, it's feeling relatively balanced. Jacob is doing very, very well in combat, which is where I'm struggling, but my bows and my throwing weapons have been doing some work and really making that back up for me. I might need to start consolidating my forces a bit because the thin green line is getting thinner and thinner.
And next it was the shooting phase for Sean, where he managed to take out quite a few goblins and a Warg Marauder as well as a spider. That one hurt. And in my shooting, all of my Orc archers and Goblin archers at the back shot up at these elves, but there's still 6 of them there. We didn't manage to take any out. Taking us into the combat phase, Sean, do you have any heroics?
I will be calling a heroic combat with Celeborn, who has finally decided to wake up, get the sleep out of his eyes, and get fighting. So
since Celeborn's called a heroic combat, I will as well with my Warg Chieftain. I want to start putting damage on that building.
I'll kill a Batswarm.
And here we go. I'll roll for my Warg Marauder. He's got a 6. Roll your dice still, Sean. You've got a 6 as well. But because of that Batswarm, your fight value is halved, so I will win that. Let's see if I can get the kill. Yes, I can. And with that, the Batswarm cannot move because he is not a Warg. So these Wargs are just going to run around into this building, and we're going to try to put some damage on it. Here's the next fight. It's Celeborn fighting the spider. I'll set the bar for you on a 5. You've got the 6, so you've won that fight. And can you kill me? So there's 1 wound, but of course I'll be trapped because of the charging cavern there, so you can roll it again. And there's the 2nd wound, so my spider's dead. And where do you want to go?
This cav model is going to just come back over this way to make a little bit of way. And Celeborn is going to run in to our Batswarm Merino. It goes in.
Here we go, my Warg Chieftain needs 6s to put wounds on, and there's none this time. Now the 2 Wargs, they'll need 6s, but they'll need something more than that. They've also failed to wound with some sad rolling there, so that building is still full strength. And now going into the combats, I really need to be killing these elves so that I can push through. And I've taken some casualties, but overall, I was trading them 1 for 1 this turn, which was going pretty well, and that was up until Orifin came up. Orifin went up against my captain, and he's been fighting him every turn of the game so far, but this turn he killed him and the banner bearer. So Orifin finally putting in some work. Around the rest of the field, the Wood Elves are still shielding, still just pushing me back where they can, which is getting frustrating, but it's definitely the defensive play that Sean needs to be doing. Now in here where he outnumbered me, of course he was striking blows and he managed to get several kills. In the center, Celeborn didn't manage to take down the Batswarm in 1 turn, but they have 4 wounds, so that's fair enough. And then I managed to win a few fights, but Rumil killed another Warg Rider. I'm getting closer to pushing through. And priority for this turn went evil, so it's all my move. And my main priority is destroying this building. If I can destroy it, all the elf archers in there will fall and get paralyzed by the webs. So let's try it. And I'm starting with the Warg and Warg Chieftain just running around to the far side so that there's no elves within 6 inches of them, so they're guaranteed to be able to hit it this turn. And this Warg Marauder is just going in to tie up as many elves as possible. Now in the center, I'm tying everyone up. Now the next phase of my plan is getting my Shamans to run through this gap so that they're within 12 inches of the tower. Now this is going to put them in danger because Rumor's going to be standing right next to them, but I need to kill that tower. And here is all 5 Shamans casting their spells. That's 3, and of course my rerolls. That's 5 wounds. Wow, that was a lot better than I was expecting. So it takes 5 wounds, and it goes down to defense 5. Now while the other flank is going well, I'm trying to push through these elves here, but Orifin is really consistently getting some kills. And these Wood Elves, who are supposed to be defense 3, which should be easy to rip through, have just managed to hold their line very, very strongly. And that takes us into the shooting phase where Sean's archers are eyeing down my shamans. My shamans just had a fantastic turn of magic, but now they're going to pay for it. So, who are you going for? Just the ones in front?
Alright, so yeah, these 11 bows are going straight for the Goblin Shaman and the Orc Shaman over there. I'm hoping to drop down to 3 Shamans, so that instead of every turn my building's going from D10 to D5, they only go from D10 to D7 if all the Shamans pop off. So some D-Day action over here, shooting the gun line straight down at those Shamans. Let's see who hits. Oh, I'll reroll that one. It's pretty good.
Alright,
just
that
the
is
2 misses.
very good. So roll these kind of one
Separately.
at a time, yep. So, who first? Orc Shaman or Goblin Shaman?
I'm going to go for the Goblin Shaman so I don't have to worry about the in the ways. So I need 4s to kill. So one wound. 2 wounds.
2 wounds, alright. I'll take my fate point. Here it is. Passed it.
Passes.
Right, need to do another one.
That's not enough. That's another wound,
Alright,
so he dies.
that's the first Shaman dead.
And then I have 2 more going at the Orc Shaman. And that'll be nothing.
Nothing. Terrible turn of shooting. You killed one of the Shamans. And with the shooting phase over, that takes us to combat. Sean, what are you doing here?
So I have called a heroic combat with Caliborn. So he's dropping down to a single point of might. So him and his court guard are going to have to kill that spider. And we're going to go and try and save Rumil, who is looking a little bit worse for wear.
And unfortunately, some abysmal rolling from Sean meant that I won that fight and managed to kill the court guard. And the battles just raged around the tabletop. And our next fight is Rumil fighting 2 spiders and a charging Warg Marauder. If Rumil loses his combat, it's looking bad for him. Let's see the rolls. I'll set the bar. I'll do my charging Warg Marauder, who has 4 dice. And then I'll do 2 spiders. I'm only on a 5 high. Alright,
Oh, there's a 4.
ooh, there's a 4. So what are you going to do about it?
Oh, I am going to have to spend a point of might to keep him alive.
Yeah. And that means you'll win the fight, so I'll push my guys back. And who do you want to strike?
I'm just going to target one of the spiders, so I can use his 2 attacks to hopefully kill one of them outright. Needing a 4, and I get a 6 and a 4 to kill.
Now, at this stage, the losses on the evil side are starting to add up as I'm losing a lot of these elite troops. Another spider just went down, and we are still killing elves around the table, but I'm worried that if we run out of our elite units, our spiders, our Warg Marauders, our Prowlers, that we're going to start being able to hit them hard. Now, this turn we did manage to get quite a few kills, but the thin line of orcs and goblins, which wasn't thin before, is getting thinner now, and Orifin did work by killing 2 models. He's done a lot of kills so far for this game, and these 3 Palace Guard managed just to push back the goblin, not able to kill their opponent. There's still some wood elves here, but you can see the goblins are starting to break through. And here we are at the end of the combat phase. It's just this treehouse to go, and I have a ton of dice to roll on it. So it's defense 5. I'm going to roll for my 2 wargs to start out with. There's 1 wound, so it's got 4 remaining. Next, I'm going to roll for the, let's go the Bat Swarm. There's another wound, so it's got 3 remaining. I'll roll for the Warg Marauder. There's another wound, so it's got 2 remaining, and the Wild Warg Chieftain is the last one to roll. He has strength 6, so we just need 4s here. There's the final 2. It is destroyed. So the wargs broke through its magical defense, and the decay has worn through. That means that all of these elves are going to fall to the bottom and be paralyzed while the building is destroyed. And Sauron's magic has destroyed the building, covered it in webs, and Sean, roll these paralyzed recoveries. On a 6, they will recover from their paralyzation. And
3.
3, dude, that's actually pretty good. And here we are at the start of the next turn. Priority this time went to the elves, but I've decided to call a heroic move with one of my shamans in here so that I can hopefully escape Rumil and Celeborn, and that'll give me an opportunity to cast some magic against the main tower. Sean, are you going to be countering that?
I will not be countering that. I am going to let them slip through. I am going to let them cast on that building, but I do feel like I want to be a bit more reactionary at the moment.
So my heroic is affecting everyone in here, and I'm going to start with my Orc Shaman, and he's going to run through as far as possible towards this tower, and he's going to be casting his spell onto the tower. I need a 4. Failed it, but I can re-roll it. And that failed again. I'm going to come through with Merzger. And he might attempt the same thing. He's failed. And he's failed again. Not good. Alright. Next up, we're going to go with Druzag. Druzag is going to take another shot at the tower. He has succeeded, so that's the first wound on the tower, and it's down in defense. And finally, Ashrak is going to run through, and he's going to do the same thing. Failed it. And succeeded, so that's 2 onto the tower.
Now this was a very risky play because these elves that aren't paralyzed are able to get up and charge into me, and there's a lot of elves all around us. I'm just trying to put the damage onto that tower because I can see that my numbers are starting to run low, and if I don't make serious progress on that 3rd tower, I'm worried that I could lose this game. There's still a lot of elves who are doing a lot of work, especially with those throwing weapons in the move phase, able to take out a plenty of goblins, and Oriphan's just going through my guys, so I need to get the objective.
Miss Galadriel has not done anything all game, but she has seen this warg who is in range, and that is a threat to her living being, so she is going straight in. And if we're lucky, I might call her a combat and finally get a cav charge with that cavi boy.
With my remaining wargs on this side, I've got multiple options. I could either come and attack the tower, but I think I'm going to go and save the shamans. Now while these guys are paralyzed, they don't have a control zone, so he's going to come in and charge that banner. Same with the warg chieftain. I've got some goblins that have gone through Sean's line, and they could go after the buildings in the backfield, or they could trap these other elves and hopefully break through. But I think I need to play the objective, and I need to run towards the backfield.
And the rest of the line that can't punch through is just going to keep engaging these wood elves and hopefully eventually kill them. They've been tanky.
And into the shooting phase, these elves got their first shots coming down here at these goblins. And Sean, what did they do?
They were able to take out 2 goblins.
Ouch. These elf archers in their firing position shot down, and it was a very successful turn, getting 4 kills.
1, 2, 3, 4.
These 3 elf archers fired down into Merzger. They did 2 wounds. Now Merzger only has 2 wounds and 1 fate. Here is my fate roll. Oh, that is a 6, so I'm alive. 1 wound, no fate.
Big Conquest 6.
And that takes us into the combat phase. Now Sean is only 19 kills away from reducing me to a quarter and winning the game. I just need to destroy one of these towers. It's going to be a close fight here.
And in the combat phase, Sean declared heroic combat with Galadriel and Celeborn.
So starting with Celeborn versus my spider, I'm on a 6! Oh, okay, Celeborn will win that fight. And can you kill the spider?
Is that spider trapped?
I think I can squeeze out here.
Yep.
I don't think you're going to struggle though.
No. And Celeborn, there is 2 wounds
And that
from
will
Celeborn.
kill my spider. Now where do those 2 guys want to go?
Alright, so after killing that spider, Celeborn's friend is going to skirt through this gap, run around, hit this spider, and Celeborn is also going to move around, hit that spider, trapping it, hopefully killing him, and putting them in a bit more of a central location to help save Galadriel.
And in Galadriel's heroic combat, I actually managed to survive this one. The rider of the warg was killed, but the warg stayed, so that heroic combat has not gone off. Now, around the rest of the table, my wargs were able to pick off some of the elven archers that had fallen out of their tower, which is reducing Sean's number, but that isn't actually getting me close to the objective. Now, my shamans did really well. Both Ashrak and Druzag got a kill, which I was not expecting at all, and none of them died. So I was really, really happy about that, because if they die, that could be my hope of winning this game out the door. Now, Rumil did well by killing a warg marauder, and then Celeborn followed up by killing another spider. So, despite my shamans doing well, we're still taking a lot of casualties around the table. We are still chipping down the elves, killing some of their elite troops, but this fight is a great representation of where this game's at. This wood elf could have shielded, but instead he decided to fight and he killed one of my orcs because Sean knows I'm starting to get close to quartered, and that could win him the game Orphan had another fantastic turn of killing 2 models, and all of the elves are putting everything they have into just getting kills because the end could be in sight if Sean can do enough kills quick enough. Throwing this caution to the wind did cost him a few models, but it cost me a lot more in guys that he killed, and the defense 3 from the elves managed to be too tanky. And this is the state of the board. Now there are 47 evil models left alive, so Sean needs to get that down to 32 in order to quarter me. And I just need to destroy that last tower in order to win this game. So it is getting very close here. And given that Sean won priority, I'm going to call a heroic move with Ashrak's Point of Might. Now Sean, are you going to cancel that?
I will be trying to counter that with Mr. Rumil. He's a little bit further out, so it'd be nice to pull him forward and away from that Warg rider there that could eventually tie him up.
And here's the roll off. 1, 2, 3 evil, 4, 5, 6 good. And that is a 6! So Rumil can move first. Now this is not good news for my Shaman. They did well last turn, but this turn with Celeborn and Rumil coming in, I'm a little bit more concerned. Without those Shamans, I won't be able to put enough damage on that tower, so I really need another lucky turn where they're able to survive. Sean also tied up my Warg Chieftain, and over on the other flank, because he got to move first, they're just holding the line, and Rumil is hunting more spiders. I do have a small contingent able to run through, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. I need to be damaging this tower, so this Warg Marauder could go and help out his friends, but I'm prioritizing trying to get damage onto the tower. And these elves shot down at the goblins below, but didn't manage to get a single kill this turn. Now the evil numbers are starting to run critically low, so this is a very important turn for me, and it started off with getting a few kills, which was good, and the Wood Elves, even when they can shield, are all choosing to throw everything they can into killing my models, because Sean knows that's exactly what he needs to do to be able to win. The good thing is, this does get me some more kills, but these guys are now a long way away from the rest of the army, and a long way away from the objectives. Orphan's been having a fantastic game getting yet another kill. And in the center, the fights just grind on and getting more kills on my orcs. But I do have models that are going to be attacking Sean's tower, so I'm confident that they'll do the work I need to win. Our next fight is Celeborn fighting against Druzhag. I really want to survive this because he's one of my Shamans that can destroy the tower. I'm on a 1, you are not on a 1. Now I'm defense 4, I've got 2 wounds, and I believe it's 2 fate. And I'm still full health. How much damage can you do here? There's 2 wounds, Lord of the West reroll.
I will be doing that.
3 wounds!
3
okay,
beacons.
I've got 2 fate. I need the Conquest Creations dice for this. 2 4-ups, please. There's 1 4-up.
So he dies.
So I'm dead, I don't have enough might. Goodbye, Druzhag. Murzag lost his fight, but managed to survive, which was great for me. Next up is Ashrak fighting against Rumil. I don't think this is going to go well for me. Oh, you're on a 6. It goes to you. Okay, I'm defense 4 as well.
Yep, so needing 4s.
Yep.
There is 2 wounds.
1 fate.
Fate point. I'm alive. So you've done 2 wounds to me. So whenever you wound Ashrak, I get to roll a dice. On a 6, you will be paralyzed from my poison blood. Oh!
It winked at me!
That was so close to a 6. An unarmed Galadriel managed to get her first kill of the game. And to finish off the fight phase, my Warg Marauder into the building. I need 6s to wound it. It's currently on defense 8 with 8 wounds. There's 2. So it's down to 6 wounds remaining. And here we are at the start of the next turn. Now just to relay how close this is, I have 41 models alive, which means that if Sean kills 9 more, I will be quartered and he will win. But this tower only has 6 wounds remaining, which means if I do 6 more wounds to it, I will win. Alright, let's roll for priority. I'm on a 6, you're on a 3. Any heroics?
Good channel, but I think I will be calling one with Celeborn. I believe that is his last.
Alright, and I will counter with Murzger's Point of Might. A very important roll off. 1, 2, 3 goes evil, 4, 5, 6 goes good. Goes to the good side. And this is bad news for my conclave of Shamans. It's looking like they'll probably all die this turn. And in my move, I really need to put damage on this tower, so everyone that can go on it is going on it. And that does include the Strength 2 Bat Swarm. Any dice can help out. Over on this side, I can't keep losing models, so I sent the Bat Swarm up there just to tie up the elves. And having priority this turn was super helpful because it meant that I could get a ton of traps across all these elves. So hopefully this is the last turn that they're able to pose any resistance to me. Now Orphan's been having a fantastic game, so I think it's time I try to take him out. I've trapped him with a Prowler in there who'll get +2 to wound if I manage to win that fight. And this is the state of the board after the movement phase. There's really not a lot left on either side. I'm still 9 models away from being courted, and we need to damage that tower. Alright, that's going into the shooting phase, and I think you're going to struggle here. I think all of my orcs and goblins on this side are tied up.
There is a lone Prowler.
And these 7 elves are firing into this one Prowler. Oh, okay, it's not good, but they just need 1 4-up to kill him. Please survive.
The second turn. No.
No, take him out. And with that shooting done, we're on to the combat phase. I'm going to be calling a heroic combat with my Wild Warg Chieftain, trying to get more attacks onto the tower. Sean, what do you have to call?
I will be calling with Lady Galadriel. I'm going for 1, the leader kill, which equals no points, but 2, just so I can spread and try and tie up the Warg Chieftain and co.
Absolutely. And do you have anything else to call?
The final one is with the brother Orphan, who is going up against 3 guys. It's a little bit risky, but, you know, why not?
So in this situation, we need to roll to see which combat goes first. I really want this. Sean really wants this. Let's see it. 1, 2, 3 goes to me. And it goes evil. All right, we're going to start with the Warg Chieftain.
Brave Boy and Shield.
Uh-oh.
Oh, 6!
Because that elf shielded, he doesn't get his Elven Blade. So on a 1, 2, 3, this goes to the Wild Warg. On a 4, 5, 6, goes to the elf. Please. Oh!
Let's go!
The Conquest 6 betrayed me. So, you've won that. I'm just going to push back. Now, I didn't think this was a very clever idea, but Sean won the fight and then rolled 3 6s to wound, killing every single one of these goblins. He then just charged 2 more orcs to try to get more kills. And the next fight is Galadriel and her friends fighting my Shaman. I'll set the bar for you. It's a good start.
I'm going to see if Galadriel, with her unarmed, can win the fight for me.
4 down
She
to a 3.
can.
She's won it with a higher fight value.
Now, this Shaman has 1 wound, no fate from memory.
Correct.
So I'm going to see if Galadriel, with her 2 attacks now, needing a 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Needing a 6 because she's would be 5s, but -1.
Ooh.
No.
She doesn't do it. But her husband, Caliborn, who is not lost,
Has
will
done
do
it.
See you later, Merzger. I'm going to send Caliborn into the Warg Chieftain. I'm going to send this elf. He's going to run into this Warg. Galadriel is going to fight old mate. Rumil is going to go and help Caliborn to get up in there. That's what. Oh, yeah, there we go. Someone talk in the comments. And this knight will charge in on this Shaman over here.
And Ashrak managed to win his fight and put a wound on Galadriel, who then failed her fate, which was hilarious. But the elves got redemption by killing the Orc Shaman, so Ashrak is the last one of the conclave of Shamans left. And around the battlefield, some of the Wargs died, but the Warg Chieftain managed to survive, and the battle is raging. Every single death on my side matters so much right now. So any fight that I lose, as long as I survive, I'm happy. And I managed to do that pretty well. And we are into the last combat of the turn. I am 2 models away from being courted. And Orphan is fighting against 2 orcs. Alright, let me set the bar for you. My 2 spearmen. Oh, that's 2 6s. Oh, no 6, and he's out of mine. All right. So that means the game is going to continue. Can I wound him? Oh, call it cocked. He's okay. And here we are. This could be it. I need to do 6 wounds to the tower in order to win this game. We're going to start with the Bat Swarm. The Bat Swarm has 2 attacks and needs 6s by 4s. Nothing from there, but that's okay. Next, we have 2 regular Wargs and 2 Warg Marauders. Now the Warg Marauders charge to get 4 attacks each, and the 2 regular Wargs just get 1. So that is a total of 10 dice. And I need 6 6s if I want to win on 10 dice.
But I just want to do as much damage as possible because the game's going on for one more turn. Let's see it! There's 2. Alright, so that takes it down to 4 wounds remaining. And we've got an important priority. I'm going to use the Conquest Creations dice. You use the last Alliance of Noobs and Men dice. Oh!
Big noob!
Who's the better channel? Who's the better channel?
Conquest Creations.
So Sean was able to move first and charge into my guys, tying them up where possible, and I think it's guaranteed that this will be the last turn of the game because I can't imagine him not killing 2 of my models, but I can put hits onto the tower. Now this is on the other flank where I've managed to trap all these elves, and it might not change the results of this game, but I certainly want to kill them just for the pride. Unfortunately, they're being a bit resilient. We only managed to take 1 of them down. And around the rest of the battlefield, I managed to not take a casualty, meaning that I'm 2 away from being quartered, but we have 1 fight left. And that is Orphan fighting against 4 orcs. Orphan has just won his fight against these orcs. Now he's got 2 in there with defense 4, 2 in there with defense 5, and he's got 3 attacks. If he kills 2, that could end the game.
I will be going after the D4 models, so I need 2 4s to end the game at the end of this turn. There it is.
1, and behind the tree, there is 2. Take out those 2 orc spearmen. So this is the last turn of the game, but it's not over because I'm still hitting the tower. There's a chance that I could still destroy the tower. Final rolling of the game. I'm quartered, so it's over, but that tower has 4 wounds left. If I can destroy it, I will get a draw here. So let's start with the bat swarm. Now the bat swarm needs 6s by 4s in order to wound it. There's a 6. Oh, okay. These 2 wargs cannot fight because they fought an elf already. So we just have 2 wargs in orders. We need 4 6s on 8 dice. No! Not the roll we were hoping for, and that means it is a victory to the Elves of Lothlorien.
Well, that was the end of a very long game. Came down to the wire, so it was a very, very tight game, but the elves came through and saved the day, so very happy with that.
What a game! That was absolutely awesome and down to the very last turn. Couldn't have asked for a better game than that, to be honest. This has been Conquest Creations. Thank you for watching.